Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I believe A 3361 was introduced, as my colleague mentioned, with good intentions to assist and protect renters of a covered dwelling site from the financial burdens resulting from a large rent increase. And nobody wants to see anyone suffer due to a large rent increase. However, for a number of reasons, rent control is not only a bad state-level policy, but it's policy that is unworkable and ineffective. In fact, such policy nearly always results in negative consequences for the parties involved and only nominal and temporary benefit, if any, to those the policy intends to help. The first problem is of three that I'm going to list today is basic economics. Anyone who has studied basic economics understands that, in part, economics is the study of behavior and decisions made by those participating in a marketplace. All economic decisions have consequences that require a look beyond the decision itself. To believe that limiting rate increases on a covered dwelling site will only result in small rent increases on the renter and will have no other negative economic consequences is short-sighted. A widely accepted economic concept is that if you control prices on goods and services, you eventually get less of those goods and services, along with lower quality. Therefore, rent control will ultimately limit the supply, which in this case means fewer affordable covered dwelling sites in the future. The problem with housing in New Jersey is that housing is unaffordable in New Jersey because New Jersey public policies make it that way. The forced rent control in A 3361 does nothing to make housing less costly to provide, but it does the opposite. It shrinks future supply by disincentivizing landlords to offer units or covered dwelling sites in the future. Landlords will be less likely to expand investment in dwelling sites and rental units. It also incentivizes landlords to cut down on maintenance, upgrades, and safety measures. Additionally, results in increased rents for non-rent controlled units and reduced residential mobility for those benefiting from the controls who can't leave. The second problem is centralized state control versus local control. Even if you believe in rent and price controls, which obviously I don't, one-size-fits-all mandates from Trenton rarely fit anyone well. There are already 119 New Jersey municipalities that have local rent control ordinances, and just 3 of them cap increases at 3% or lower. Let's leave local issues like this in the hands of local leaders who know and understand the needs of their constituents and regions far better than we do. The final problem with this bill, in my opinion, is what I call self-reflection for this body. New Jersey's citizens are burdened by policies coming out of Trenton that have resulted in an affordability crisis due to the highest property, income, and corporate taxes in the nation, the worst climate in which to conduct business, and crushing regulations on small businesses, which have resulted in the highest outmigration of citizens in the United States. Instead of inflicting more failed economic policies like rent control on our citizens, let's instead work to reform our tax, regulatory, and school funding laws so that rent and price controls are not necessary, because they do not work. For these reasons, among others, I respectfully urge my colleagues to vote no.